exciting to watch. They're dangerous. I think that, you know, their consistency's been the thing they've struggled with.
Can't work them out. Sometimes they do look brilliant, and then others you're just thinking, well, how have they lost that?
Welcome to the pre-match pint with London 5. We're not at the Fuller's Brewery in Chiswick Lane, but Bees fans, get yourself down there for 10% off anyway. And joining me this week is Brentford women's gaffer Karleigh Osborne and Natalie Karleigh. How are you both? Cheers.
Cheers. Very well, yeah.
Good to see you.
A first cheers to Mads Roslev as well.
Oh.
Breaking news today. Well, you guys would have known this already. Watching it back.
Don't ruin the drama.
You should have done the breaking news bit. Why am I doing it? Mads Roslev signs a new contract to 2026 with a year option. So congratulations, Mads, and very well deserved. We'll chat about Mads in a bit, but there's only one place to start, really. Arsenal at the weekend. Another just amazing away day in this kind of fairy tale couple of years that we've had. We've just become used to it, I guess. Karleigh, you were on co-coms on the day. What did you make of it?
It was brilliant. Good performance. Had a bit of everything in it. It was quite an exciting game as well, actually. There was chances for both teams. I think Brentford probably had the better chances overall when you look at the chances for both teams. But it was a fantastic day, good performance, and a good point. I think we could have got more, but yeah, it was good.
It's mad that we're saying that coming out of the Emirates, but I think that was it, Natalie, wasn't it? For all their possession, and they were at times kind of camped in our half, let's get it right, but this, and especially modern football, that doesn't mean kind of what it used to. I feel like it's kind of, teams have game plans now, and we went there with a game plan, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you are going to try and stifle a team, which we were trying to do, you've got to play a certain way. You know, there are certain games. You know, I go back to the Man City game at the Etihad in November, and completely thought we'd play a low block and we would just sit back and hope for the best kind of thing. But that wasn't the case. And obviously, Thomas had seen something in that game, or going into that game, that we could get at City. Now, every team you have to prepare for in a different way, and if that means against Arsenal, like you say, we were camped in our own half for spells of that game, but so be it. If it still means at the end of the day you come away with something positive, I think that's the great thing about our team, actually. We've got variety in our team, that we don't always play the same way. So yeah, I'm chuffed to bits that we earned a draw.
It's that adaptability, and you saw the lineup change from Southampton, Karleigh, and it's like different combinations in midfield, and now with more players coming back, we've got more opportunities to do so, right? Yeah,
definitely, more opportunities, more options, and I think Natalie's right. And when you look at the game plan, we've almost pulled it off to a T, haven't we? A little bit more clinical, and we come away with the 3 points. But yeah, with more players coming back, there's more options, more chances to do different things, more tools in the toolbox, so to speak. So it's exciting times in terms of from now to the end of the season, how we can keep progressing and where we end up.
Yeah, and we spoke about it just before we started filming. What do you think was the difference this time around compared to last year at the Emirates? Because we didn't see a lot of the ball that day, but it felt like we didn't really get out of our half that day either.
I think confidence is a massive factor. To go into that game unbeaten like we were in, 9, to know that we'd beaten Liverpool, we'd beaten Man City, we obviously drew with Spurs recently. There were some good results under our belt. I think confidence really is such a big factor, and just knowing that we're a team that right now are riding this crest of a wave that everyone's talking about so positively. There's absolutely no reason for them to go into that game with any fear, because we've been playing so well, and the fact, like we've just mentioned, that they can change it up if they need to and play different styles. I think that to me was the biggest difference, just knowing that we could give them a game and actually make up for the performance that we had here at the Gtech Community Stadium early on in the season, where we weren't at it at all. They were electric, and I think we just had a lot to prove from that performance as well.
And on mentality and stuff, how big was it? Because people always say in these games, you go to the Emirates, if you don't score the first goal, you're done. Do you see what I mean? How big is that this has happened a couple of times now?
Yeah.
Stamford Bridge as well, and surely that's something to cling on to.
Well, that absolutely, and that's all the work that they're doing at the training ground and behind the scenes that we're not seeing when they're talking about the resilience in the team and the fight back that we have in this team as well. And we're a team that's never say die. We'll play to the final whistle, all that sort of stuff, and that comes from Thomas and his crew as well. And I just think there's inner belief now in this side that we can give anyone a match. Sometimes it won't go our way, but as it's right now, it is, and we've got to enjoy it.
Karleigh, what impact do you think on a day Brian and Ivan had, because again we're talking about if you're going to be stuck in your own half, you're going to need an outlet, and I thought we've seen it on numerous occasions this year. I thought they linked up incredibly, and one man out of the twos would probably be getting a lot more of the plaudits, but I think maybe it's today a chance to speak about Brian Mbeumo here, and what an unbelievable season that man's had, by the way. I think he's equalled his goal scoring record already. He's assisting every week pretty much at the moment as well.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and the way they worked together, the way they drove the team forward and carried the team forward was really good. Ivan was fantastic in terms of occupying the centre halves. He caused them problems all game. He terrorised the centre halves. And then Brian was really good at the timing of his movement, the timing of his runs, but also when the ball came into him, he looked after it and made really good decisions in order for us to continue with our play up the pitch. And I think that's something that Brian's probably brought in this year, which is now giving him so much more success. I think also going to the World Cup and being involved in that, I think that's helped him. I think last year he was fantastic, got himself to good positions. Sometimes you would maybe question his decision making, was it the best at times? But I think this year he's been outstanding. I think he deserves probably a lot more plaudits. It's difficult when you've got Ivan Toney up top next to you as well, who's doing so well. But as a pair on Saturday, they were fantastic and they were hard to play against, and they caused Arsenal problems all day.
How do you feel going up against them at the centre half?
Listen, you know me, I'm clever.
What are you going to do? Who are you going to move to? Yeah, who are you going to move to, Brian or Ivan? Because
you know what? I would have probably enjoyed the battle with Ivan more. I think because Brian running around everywhere I wouldn't want to do it. So I would have liked to try to have the battle with Ivan, definitely.
Yeah. On Brian as well, Natalie. Look, people are going to say what they want about the goal that we scored, VAR. We're not going to get into that today, right? But
I'd love to.
I know. I think as an official club channel, we've got to be a bit careful. The goal stood at the end of the day, everyone. It stood. It was a horrible agonising wait though in the stand. I got on the chair twice because of it. But Brian, first half,
It's a soft foul. It's soft.
It's not a foul.
It's not a foul.
He slips.
It's not a foul at all. I said it straight away.
Yeah.
It's not a foul.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know we keep saying, as Brentford fans, we have said we had a goal disallowed. Technically, it wasn't disallowed in the sense that the whistle had blown before he put the ball in the back of the net. But had the referee allowed the play to continue, you kind of reckon Brian probably would have scored anyway because he's been great at some of his finishes this season. So yeah, we have our own gripes from that game as well. Although of course we do understand the Arsenal situation as well.
Yeah, really well put there.
Diplomatic.
Yeah, really.
Very diplomatic. It was good. I enjoyed that.
Look, I don't want to keep putting people out and speaking about individuals. I actually thought Matty Jensen again, so aggressive. He was pulling up at left back, right back at times. He was everywhere. But we mentioned him at the start of the show. Congratulations, Maz Roslev, on your new contract. For me, that was up there with his best performance. And again, we're talking about improved players.
Yeah.
Karleigh, how good has it been to see Mads' development?
Yeah, his development's been fantastic. His improvement has been brilliant. I think his performance epitomised that. He made so many vital, interceptions and challenges at the back stick, which is a difficult job as well against a good team like Arsenal, who are always trying to overload. So he done fantastic in terms of his defensive work, and he was always good at going forward, and that was kind of his game. But you were saying earlier off camera that he's now developed the defending side of the game. And I think that's what's starting to really stand out, and now he's becoming an all-round better player.
On the day, there's a few people, and I see it's again people like me that maybe don't know the game as well as yourselves that look at it and see Trossard's behind him.
Yeah.
So that must be Mads' fault for the goal. But you're actually saying there's numerous people that have influenced what's happened there. It's not Mads necessarily's fault.
Yeah, it's not necessarily his fault. And yes, in the instance you can look at it and go, it must be his fault because he's the closest player to it. But actually, there's certain things that happen before it even gets to that point. So I can understand why Mads is trying to focus on the player in front because he's thinking to himself, he's worried his other centre half hasn't seen him. If that player gets the pullback, he's going to tap that in. You could argue maybe he should have opened his body up more, but I think he's probably trying to demand that one of his players come across more so that he can then release himself and be in a better position. When you think about, he must have defended that about 4 or 5 times, and that was the one time that unfortunately it got punished on his side. But I'll be honest, as a fellow defender, it's difficult to put all the blame on him. There was other things that...
Can I just say, when you're saying that, all the things that are going through your head when you're discussing what he might be going through, it just makes me think, wow, the decisions you have to make, you've got like that to make it.
Exactly that, and that's exactly incredible. It. All of the things that I'm saying, he's having to try and think about at that point and make the right decision upon that moment.
Is that where communication is so important? Because Trossard comes from a different position. He's not like Trossard's was always there. His movement was really good, and is that where it's so vital?
Yeah, that's where it's so vital. His movement's good, his interchanging. You've got someone coming in the middle who might be going across the near or across the middle of the goal. You've got Trossard working his way around. You've got the defender thinking about the crosser, what angle is he trying to block off and who's he stopping. So there's loads of things going on in that short space of time. And the communication and body position is really important, because that's the thing that might save you in terms of getting it right. But you're playing against a team like Arsenal, whose movement and rotation is crazy. It's ridiculous. And they defended it very well for the whole game, but unfortunately was punished that time.
Last thing on Mads, he always performs in these huge games.
He does. I mean, when I think of Mads, I always think back to the second goal of the Championship playoff final, and how pivotal role he had in that, and the speed that he had in it as well to get up into the Swansea half. And yeah, you're right, big games he delivers, and he's been brilliant and well worthy of the reward of a new deal. We've got some fantastic players, we really have, and we should cherish them, because I always do wonder what's going to happen.
But I was looking at it, played centre-half against United.
Yeah.
He's played in the Chelsea games, the Arsenal games, the Liverpool games. He's played in all these huge games.
But he's clearly a player that relishes the big games, and Thomas trusts him, which again is all part of the confidence.
Natalie as well, a really lovely and emotional moment at the game. We see it here, Ivan and the boys grabbing this shirt for Sergi, and I don't know what else we can say. Everyone's obviously with Sergi, but what a lovely moment from that, and says a lot, doesn't it, about the group? It does,
and it was sad that Sergi has gone out on loan, obviously, and it sort of feels like the end of an era for him. But it just actually goes to show the bond I think the players have with each other, that even though he's no longer part of our setup right now, he's still very much in our thoughts, and he is, obviously, having lost his mother so unexpectedly. So we all send him a love. Yeah, well, look, it's unbelievably 10 unbeaten in the Premier League heading into Saturday's game against Crystal Palace. Karleigh, I know there'll be Palace fans out there that I've seen it online that are kind of bemoaning what's going on a little bit at the moment, feel like they could maybe be higher up in the league, but this is an interesting team. I was looking at, especially attacking wise, and I think Anderson at the back, I know it's touch and go whether he'll be playing, and Zaha, it's touch and go, but they're an exciting team to watch, aren't they, Palace?
They are. They're exciting to watch. They're dangerous. I think that, their consistency has been the thing they've struggled with. But on their day, they can be dangerous, they can cause you problems, and they can score goals. So it's not one of those games where Brentford can kind of stroll up and just expect to win. It's not going to be like that at all. I think Palace will come and they'll want to put performance on. They'll want to score goals. But if Brentford can match the levels they did at the weekend just gone against Arsenal, then they'll put themselves in a good place to go and get a good result.
Where will we need to be at our best here? The obvious seems to be stifling that three attacking midfielders in Eze, Elise and Zaha if they're all playing.
Well, absolutely. They are a fearsome trio when they're on it. You're right to say they're so inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get with Palace. Honestly, when I'm having to talk about Palace, I always just think, I don't know what to say about them, because I can't work them out. Sometimes they do look brilliant, and then others you're just thinking, well, how have they lost that, or how have they been so disappointing? I think obviously one of the big factors for us is being clinical, because like we pointed out with the Arsenal game, we had chances, we just didn't put them away. So we can't afford to go through another game where we're sort of having these chances and not putting them in the back of the net. So it's all about concentrating on us and playing to our strengths, and making sure we're playing in Ivan and Brian and putting those chances away, so that hopefully we'll make it 11 unbeaten, which for a team like Brentford, who are only in their second season, I'd hate to say it like a team like Brentford, because
we've gone the other way now.
It's just ridiculous.
About us.
But this is the problem as well. I'm so nervous now, because I'm loving this unbeaten run, and I don't want us to lose it. But so I just think to be possibly 11 games unbeaten, it's just incredible for our second season.
A West London derby after the break.
Indeed.
Unbeaten. We can't go that far ahead. As Thomas says, one game at a time. You mentioned concentrate on ourselves. Right, I'm going to put to two of you then. We were 4-3-3 last time at home, but away from home, we did so well with that 3-5-2, or 5-3-2, how you interpret it. What would the two of you do come Saturday? And would you be bringing Aaron back in, who played at home here, and then what happens? These are things. No one cares tough. What I think about this, so.
Well, I'm not sure they even care what we think.
I was going to say that. I'm not sure they care what we think. Yeah. I'll let you go first.
No, go on.
Sure. Okay,
You're the football brain.
I don't know about that. I think because the performance was good against Arsenal, I wouldn't necessarily change it.
Right.
I think, you know, if it wasn't a great performance, then maybe I'd look at changing it. I don't think I'd change it. And I think I'd probably keep the same formation. I would just try and develop it a little bit more attack. And I think the difference with this game is we'll probably end up having more possession. I don't think we're going to concede possession necessarily to Palace.
So would you change any of the combinations? For example, some people argue Vita and Norgard is a more industrious midfield in those games. But if you bring in Josh or Shandon, who we've seen back involved, who I thought Shandon at Selhurst Park was superb, keeping the ball in tight areas. So what are you doing?
I can see that. For me, I'm staying the same. I think even with, you know, with Vita and Norgard there, for me, even on the ball, they can still move the ball and play well. And like I said, we don't know what front three is going to come from Palace. So depending on they like to do a lot of individual stuff and isolate players. But if they do decide to be a bit more narrow, those two are going to be key in cutting things off and trying to limit, you know, the time they have on the ball and helping the defenders to try and nullify their space. So I think they're going to be key in that instant. But I would probably try and get the fullbacks to push on a bit more, the wing backs to push on a little bit more. Can they play a little bit higher? Can we be a little bit more risky and see if we can then also pull back their front three, so to speak, you know, to have to do their bit of defensive work as well. It's an interesting tactical kind of play, but we'll see what Thomas does.
Just gonna agree.
No, I mean, I definitely agree with, I wouldn't change the personnel. I think they're going to come into this with confidence. Now, I know obviously you can say, well, against Southampton they won and therefore why would you have changed? I just think there was a lot to like about that Arsenal performance. Why change it? We have the players that can come on and change it if it doesn't go our way. So yeah, I would be of the thinking of Karleigh and to stick with it.
Well, what do you guys think? Put in the comment section below. We're going back to 4 at the back this weekend. We want to know what you think. That is it for this week. Before we go, a few little things that are going on at the match day on Saturday. In the fans hive, you can go and find out what blood type you are, because there is a shortage of blood in the UK at the moment, actually. So you can go down there, find out what blood type you are. And we're looking to see certain blood types, especially with people who've got sickle cell. So we're trying to find blood types to match them. It's also obviously No Room for Racism weekend, so we'll be supporting that. And we've got some food and beverage bundle offers for you. As always, this is exciting. This is what you want to know about. Here are your bundle offers. You can get a pint and a sausage roll or a vegan pie for $8.95. Or you could get a confectionery item and a soft drink for £3.50. The early bird deals, get in early. 1:30 to 2 p.m. these go. Draft beers only £4, soft drinks $1.75, sausage rolls and pies £4, and in the dugout and premium lounges from 12:30 till 2. It's the same prices, but in the lounges there'll be a discount of an extra £2.
Woo!
Get yourself down early, and hopefully some of you got some Brentford scarves and that Southampton game. So remember, we want to see them as the boys walk out for Heydew to make it a sea of red and white. Right, thanks both of you for joining me.
Thank you.
And see you all Saturday. You Reds! Mads, first of all, congratulations, mate, on the contract.
Thank you very much.
Massively deserved. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels really good. Obviously, a very good feeling. So I'm